Your smile can make someone's day and in a unique way serves as another opportunity to demonstrate kindness to the person who receives it. With a happier outlook today, you may brighten the mood, elevate the spirits, and cheer up others. Thank you for joining us for another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. We have a great package wrapped up especially for you, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the news.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, October 7, 2022. Laws pertaining to the use of psychoactive substances are to be updated to adequately capture the threat they pose. Prime Minister Andrew Holness gave the directive recently following a presentation from the National Council on Drug Abuse, NCDA, at the monthly sitting of the National Security Council. The presentation highlighted the increased use of psychoactive substances among the nation's youth and their deviant effects. A recent situational assessment undertaken in May 2022 by the NCDA pointed to the growing use of Manley and other dangerous drugs among adolescents. The Prime Minister says the update will serve to hold producers and traffickers of the substances accountable. SCJ Holdings has realized gross earnings of $3.8 billion in the sale of sugar lands located in the Greater Bernard Lodge development area. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who provided an update in the House of Representatives on Wednesday, said the earnings will be used to offset over $2 billion in legacy obligations held by the SCJ.
The net proceeds of the Bernard Lodge land sales will be applied in clearing these obligations, and the divestment of the properties will lower SCJ's operating cost and place the organization in a stronger financial position.
The funds were obtained from the sale of 1,225 acres of land to 7 developers for mixed residential, commercial, and light industrial purposes. Prime Minister Holness said Cabinet also approved the transfer of 102 acres of land free of cost to the National Housing Trust and the Housing Agency of Jamaica. The properties, he says, will be used to provide affordable housing for persons of limited means. Mr. Holness says the divestment of lands at Bernard Lodge is progressing smoothly, with 2 of the 3 phases successfully completed and the 3rd phase now in progress. In other news, the island's capacity to police its borders has been improved. That's thanks to the receipt of one of 4 rigid-hull inflatable boats that has been donated under the $420 million Japan Grant Aid Program. The first boat was delivered on Wednesday to the Jamaica Constabulary Force. The 3 remaining patrol boats will be handed over later this year and will be shared with the Jamaica Defense Force. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says the vessel will assist the police in combating smuggling and border infiltration.
One of the keys to what we do, of course, is that we have to be able to set sail. We have to go to sea. We have to have the kit and equipment required to do our job. And this gift of the rubber hull inflatable boat will go a long way in assisting us to do that.
I wish to acknowledge Ambassador Fujiwara and his team at the Japanese Embassy in Kingston for their commitment and their efforts to deepen the ties between our 2 countries.
And finally, Executive Director of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, JCPD, Dr. Christine Hendricks, has welcomed news that members of the disabled community will be benefiting from Operation Birthright. The program, which is being administered by the National Identification System, NIDS, will provide more than 30,000 unidentified Jamaicans living below the poverty line with free birth certificates. At Tuesday's JIS think tank, Dr. Hendricks lauded the program, saying members of the disabled community who were once denied critical aid due to lack of identification will now get support.
So many of the government benefits in the past and even in the recent past for COVID grants and so on, many persons, although they were in need, were not able to benefit because they were not able to go onto the system to allow their TRN to identify them.
Dr. Hendricks also urged the abled community to assist the disabled with signing up for Operation Birthright. Application forms are available at nidsfacts.com/operation-birthright. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
If you're considering starting your own farm but aren't sure where to begin, we have a game plan for you. First, avoid planting too many crops at once.
Simple put, don't bite off more than you can chew.
You don't want to plant your crop and then struggle to care for and preserve it. Therefore, get in touch with your local extension officer, since they can give you the technical guidance you need to have a successful crop life. While your extension officer is on hand to help you through the process, you, the farmer, will have to bear some of the responsibility in the cultivation and the production of your crop, like having the proper land tenure, whether through leasing or ownership. Appropriate property access is key, and store your products properly, ensuring tools, pesticides, and fertilizers are kept in different areas. Also, there are several pertinent questions to ask yourself. Do you have the right equipment and the tools for the purpose of cultivation? What about cash flow to take care of the crop from planting to harvesting? Okay, that's covered. Do you have access to labor, proper restroom, and first aid facilities for your workers?
For the new farmers who have not started planters yet, we are encouraging you to get registered at our RADA offices and get on board, because we need your input.
A well-balanced diet includes items from all 5 food groups: starchy carbohydrates, fruits and vegetables, protein, dairy, and healthy fats. You may achieve this diet by growing your own farmland or a backyard garden. Combine the two and you can eat what you grow.
Jamaica is known for its culinary melting pot of flavors. Our local cuisine mixes inspiration from our European, African, East Asian, and Indian roots, making our meals a wonderful blend of herbs and spices, ranging from simple appetizers to a heavy main course. Under the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries' Grow Smart, Eat Smart campaign, we will look at ways to eat smart. And so today, one of our local chefs will whip up dishes using produce from his very own garden. Fruits are sources of many essential nutrients like potassium, dietary fiber, vitamin C, and folate. And it's best to have it at the beginning of the day. So starting off today's entree is a fruit platter being prepared by
Chef Dennis Osborne from B&E Caterers and Restaurant Limited. Alright, so we'll be going right ahead. We'll be peeling to just create a simple design on the plate here. So we'll be having our papa as well, promoting healthy eating. Over here we are using a kringle cutter just to get it fancy. All these fruits that we have here, it's straight from the backyard, straight onto our plate right here. Here you go, perfect fruit platter within 5 minutes or less.
Food security will allow Jamaica to provide adequate and a safe supply of food for everyone, like the fruit platter seen here. Cultivating the food or fruits you love will not only add to food production, but make it more accessible. And if fruits are not your forte,
next on the menu, we'll be moving straight to our fresh salad. So here again, we're making a fresh salad, a green salad. So everything is straight from the backyard, and we'll be going ahead by just making some green vegetables. So we have our romaine lettuce, we have our iceberg lettuce, our cucumber, our carrot, our green tomatoes and our little cherry plummy tomatoes as well. Started right here. So peeling our carrots, getting it all ready for show. Okay. So we're having the carrot just for color, and carrot also is very healthy and good for us. Let's make some random chops in them. We can just drizzle with some olive oil, or we can add some fresh vinegar to it as well for that tangy taste. But I mean, look at it, it's as beautiful as it gets.
To top it off, you can add peanuts, cashew, or cranberries that are rich in vitamins and minerals. Just another way to make your taste buds scream.
What's next on the menu is stuffed chicken breast with callaloo and stuffed tilapia fish with callaloo as well. So we finally chop in clove of garlic. There we go. Add it to our pot and preparing our callaloo as well. We're adding some carrot also to it for color. Some fine cubes within 5 minutes. It is all ready to go. Just a pinch of salt. So we're gonna go ahead and prepare our fire for the chicken breast. So we had a knob of butter in it. This is our chicken breast. We're lightly seasoned. Salt and black pepper. Create a pocket inside our chicken breast here. We're gonna be adding our callaloo to the pot in just a bit. This will literally take 10 minutes in the pot, 5 minutes on either side. And then we are ready. You know, we have to have some garlic as well in the oil to flavor it. It is very, very good. You know, we Jamaican, we grew up on garlic. So first thing you stick, grab a garlic. We're gonna stuff our tilapia while that chicken is getting seared. Here's the tilapia here. So we're gonna be putting a knob of butter as well, because we don't want it to be sticking in it. So the butter helps to moisturize it. So this is a perfect way to seal your tilapia and shove it in the ovens. We went ahead and blanched our vegetables, so just in our vegetables here. Adding a sprig of thyme as well. Also some fresh parsley. Let it rest for 2 minutes.
Grab your chicken, slice as desired, and voila!
Stuffed chicken breast with our own backyard vegetables and our charred tomato ready to go.
To keep the fire burning, a side of sweet plantains to complement the tilapia.
You know, Jamaicans, we love ripe plantain, right? We'll be cutting it on the bias again using our kringle cutter. So we're adding the Heights green and gold color to our pot. We're julienne our sweet peppers, and these are sweet pepper, these are not bell peppers. Putting our plantains aside. Here you have it, roast tilapia, plantains served with a slice of avocado on our fresh vegetable from our backyard.
Just yum! And to fill all gaps in the stomach, what's better than to add a blend of cherry juice?
We're actually making about 6 cups of cherry juice, and it's optional for sweetener because these cherries are very, very sweet. We can add a tablespoon of honey if we wish.
And you can do all this with ingredients from a home garden. Let's continue to hold on to our traditions by growing the food we love. Excellent.
To deal with crime and violence, we must be united. Please cooperate with the security forces. Call 311-119 or the JDF tip line. If you know something and you not talk, you're a part of the problem.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called for an international war on guns to curb the influx of illegal weapons and the murder pandemic on the island. But what does this entail?
Mr. President, several countries in Latin America and the Caribbean are facing an epidemic of crime and violence. Since the pandemic and the disruption in education, challenges with mental health are being increasingly expressed in violent ways. The propensity to resolve conflict or cope with social and mental stresses through violence requires a public health response. And Jamaica has not only engaged in global initiatives such as the Partnership to End Violence Against Children, but we have recently empaneled a National Commission on the Prevention of Violence to advise the government on building out an articulated public health and social service response. However, the situation is exponentially complicated and exacerbated by the influx of illegal and unregistered small arms into our country. From organized transnational criminal enterprises to street-level gangs to the misguided youth in the inner city, the availability of guns is driving an ever-increasing homicide rate. In the same way that a war on drugs is being prosecuted, in which we have been faithful partners in policing what comes through our waters or leaves our shores, there now must be a war on guns. Jamaica does not manufacture guns, but our population suffers from the effects of widely available guns. The countries that manufacture weapons that are available to the public must implement stronger measures to ensure that those weapons do not end up on the streets and in the hands of people for whom they were not intended. In the same way that there is a concern about illegal drugs on the streets of the rich countries, there must be concern about guns on the streets of developing countries like Jamaica.
We can no longer turn a blind eye to our children. Each of us have the duty to protect them. As we continue to strengthen our protection campaign, we ask that you try positive discipline. Talk not once, twice, 3 times, 7 times even. In talking to your child, you make them comfortable to tell you about what is affecting them. Tell our children the truth and tell them what is wrong and why. We remind our parents, if you are having difficulties with your child, we are here for you to support you, along with the many other agencies that are set up for this purpose. Additionally, we remind parents that if you see another parent in need of help or sound advice, reach out and provide support. Every child is our child.
For most Jamaicans, farming is now a way of life, especially for women who have turned to it as a way to not only increase their household income, but also Jamaica's food production.
With grit and resilience, women have earned their success in many professions, even the ones that are male-dominant. The stories of their unbreakable persistence have made music across the world. A similar story takes us to a district in Clarendon where we encounter a woman working purposefully to make her mark.
My name is Gabrielle Young. I'm a farmer, I'm a veterinarian, I'm a mother of 2 boys, and I'm many things.
Dr. Young's path to the farm did not begin with that clear destination in mind, but in retrospect seems almost destined.
I studied veterinary medicine at the University of West Indies. I also did a master's degree in livestock production, and then I furthered my studies in a residency at the North Carolina State University in ruminant health and reproduction. My interest in farming was piqued because I kept saying to myself, really, I'm teaching people how to do these things. I teach husbandry, I teach nutrition, I teach management, I teach production. And I kept saying to myself that I think sometimes we need to proof of concept.
So she put thought to action, purchased land, and started a new venture.
And this property I developed into a sheep and goat farm, and I have a few cattle. And then we ventured into many other things, which includes goat's milk yogurt, and goat cheese. We also sell lamb.
The skill set, knowledge, and expertise gained from her previous duties as a veterinarian have helped Dr. Young to set up and expand her farm.
I have learned a lot on production medicine or production of livestock. And everything has to make money. The farm has to pay for the feed to feed the animals. The farm has to pay for its own electricity, its own water. So it's all about efficiency. Because when you're looking at farming from a commercial standpoint, or you want to be efficient or profitable in it, it has to pay for itself.
Along with all her responsibilities on the farm and at her weekday job, she still has to make room for the family.
Mommy has to come home after working a whole day in the field. Thankfully, I don't have to do the cooking. My husband does most of that sometimes and helps with that. But I have to do the homework. Then I have to listen to the stories. Then I have to hear whose problems and who needs a project done. So I do that also. And then, of course, I try and spend as much time with my boys as possible. How I manage all of this is my husband and I are a great team. We don't always agree, though, but we're a good team. And we've always had a philosophy that whatever we do for the boys. So as a woman in farming, it's difficult. I'm not going to pretty it up. It's difficult. I think we have to work twice as hard or 3 times as hard as the average man. Because we don't get any free passes, we don't get any blighs. We do get admiration when we finally reach where we need to reach. No, not sweet enough.
Despite all the challenges, Dr. Young says encouragement also came her way and gives thanks to the Good Samaritans that have helped.
So I got a lot of encouragement from the older stalwarts to keep going when I felt to throw my hands up in the air. You have to be very strong. And I think sometimes as women, when you're strong, it's perceived as being aggressive. And I had to deal with that in my head. Am I being aggressive or am I being strong? And I didn't just reach a stage where thankfully I had parents who always pushed me really hard. I just had to accept that I am who I am.
With persistency and consistency, she has increased her farm to 300 sheep, 54 goats, 11 cows, a few chickens, a horse, and dogs as security.
I really enjoy what I do. And again, it's for commercial purposes. This is not a hobby farm, right? So the farm produces goat's milk. We make yogurt from the goat's milk. We make cheese. And we also do premium lamb. So all of that is in the mix and selling.
When asked if women should see farming as a career opportunity, the resounding answer is yes.
The reason is it can give you as a woman a sense of independence. In my little district alone, majority of the women, they do chickens. And the chickens, they might do 100 chickens, they might do 200 chickens. And those chickens are what they use to either feed their family, one, they sell locally in the community, and also they also use that money to send their children to school.
Farming is a viable option to extend your network and feed your community while making a profit. If you are thinking about venturing into this path, Dr. Young shares some tips to consider.
You have to plan it out. make sure first you have your market. If you don't have a market for your product, then don't do it. If you need help, we're willing to assist you, right? And there are many people who will be willing to assist you.
With every new adventure comes its challenges. If you should endure with great fortitude, you will reap the harvest in due season. Dr. Young formed her own company, Trin Jam Farms, distributing fresh goat products nationwide.
We need farmers to produce more, because if they produce more, then they're more profitable. And when they're more profitable, means they're making money for themselves, which is better for Jamaica.
A concept worth trying. What are you purposed to do? Let's continue to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
In life, there are a lot of things that comes in our way to impede us from going on further. And those things will cause us to feel that we don't have a purpose and we're better off not being here. But sometimes you have to look at those situations or those circumstances and allow it to build you as an individual. Know that it's going to get better at the end.
In Roxborough, Manchester is a museum dedicated to telling the story of the life and work of the Right Honourable Norman Washington Manley. You will find it nestled on a hillside at the place of his birth. Once inside, you will be captivated by intriguing information on his years as a soldier, athlete, scholar, statesman, and advocate. At the museum, you can read about how Norman Manley supported the cause of the workers at the time of the labor troubles in 1938. His advocacy took on a more defined role when he rose to lead the newly formed People's National Party (PNP) in 1938 and remained as president until his retirement in 1969. Norman Washington Manley became chief minister after the 1955 election and premier in 1958. The same year Jamaica joined the West Indies Federation. A faithful supporter of the Federation, Manley put the issue to the people, holding a referendum in 1961 to decide if the country should remain in the Federation. The answer was no, and Manley arranged for Jamaica's orderly withdrawal. Manley kept himself busy with the things he was very passionate about, leaving behind an extensive legacy, such as his role in obtaining universal adult suffrage in 1944 and developing a new constitution for independent Jamaica. And so, in 1954, he led efforts to secure executive powers for elected representatives. It was also under Norman Manley's leadership that Jamaica achieved full internal self-government in 1959, a precursor to political independence that would come 3 years later. Manley's dedicated service to Jamaica earned him the Order of National Hero in 1969. Norman Manley died on September 2, 1969.
We've come to the end of our program. Get a recap of all you saw here and more on our website at www.gis.gov.jm. From all of us here at the GIS, I'm Audrey Williams. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.